Welcome back to the channel. We got Feminist Professor admits we've ruined everything from Timcast, another one. Don't forget his videos down below in the description as always, and don't forget to hit that like button and smash the subscribe button if you're new around here. And we will get... hang on. There we go. That's the screen I'm supposed to be on. A little bigger. I'm working on something else in the background. Stay tuned for that. Anyways, without further ado, let's get right into the video.
Halle Berry is upset with Gavin Newsom. See, there was a bill that would guarantee health care, or at least require insurance companies to provide health care for menopausal, and I think it's called perimenopausal women, like they're going through these symptoms. Well, Newsom vetoed the bill. And
that's crazy.
This, Halle Berry is slamming Newsom, saying he shouldn't be president.
Yeah, there is zero bill that should go across Gavin Newsom's desk that he should veto with how much fucking money he's wasted from that state. At this point, he shouldn't even care. He should just sign everything that comes across just because, oh, it'll make all these people happy. It'll make these people happy. It'll keep them happy. And then maybe they'll vote for him in 28 for president.
This is feminism coming home to roost. It is a chaotic and destructive force that maybe had some noble origins early in the day, but don't go anywhere productive. And now we are seeing feminism implode right before our eyes. Not just because Gavin Newsom's in trouble for not giving these women what they will continually ask for, but because people don't want to work with women. Men don't want to mentor women. Young men don't want to study under female professors. Young men don't want to approach women.
It's getting to the point where it's like men don't want women around in the spaces where they're going to learn, they're going to be working. They don't want them there because many of them, not all, there are some of you I have met in my own personal life who are fantastic. However, there's a large group of people who are like completely liberal professors who don't actually teach, and they just teach a brainwashing course, basically, and try to encourage and indoctrinate more people to vote their same way. And yeah, schools have become more of an indoctrination facility, and there are some places where, in like the workplace, where men don't think a woman can teach them as much. To each their own. However, that is a fair thing to say. If they are feeling like, the world isn't getting better than it used to be. If they see, oh, what's changed since back then when they say it was better at this point in time, and now we've jumped to this point in time, and they're like, oh, it used to be better back then. What was different back then? Fewer women in the workplace was one, and so they might be just, all right, let's try this. Let's try not getting in class with women. Let's try not doing this. And I'm not sure what effect it'll have on the future. I doubt a good one. I think everybody should just be trying to work together and not trying to indoctrinate and turn each other against each other.
Birth rates are declining. Everyone's pissed off. None of this was a good idea. Now, I suppose if you go back in time, everything starts with noble intentions. You take a look at women's right to vote. You say, hey, not every woman is married. Women need to be able to buy products and exist in the workplace and all of these things.
Yeah, I mean, giving women the right to vote was basically just saying, hey, if you're not a married woman, here, now you have representation. And now if you are married, you and your husband have double representation if you're both aligned and you vote the same way. Because why on earth would you marry someone who you don't vote with? If you do, you're retarded.
Sure. Women did have jobs back in the day. But typically the way society worked was that the man, as the head of the household, was the one responsible for the vote. The vote represented his family. He'd be the one primarily making the money. And women were caretakers and the creators of families. Slowly over time, with industrialization, our society decided that women should work too, and they should work every job. And this big boom happened largely in the 70s. Now you've got the trend of feminist girl bosses. Women can do everything. They can have it all. And the end result is this mess. This mess. A mess everywhere. Jordan Peterson brought it up years ago and got roasted for it, but he was correct. He said, men and women in the workplace has been a disaster. He was interviewed by Vice, and they said, what do you mean it's a disaster? And he says, Look at the sexual harassment lawsuits. I mean, it is the Me Too phenomenon. However you want to put it.
Oh yeah, Me Too absolutely was such a detriment to women. Even though it was like, oh yeah, you join us. It became Me Too, and then it became Believe All Victims, and then Believe All Women. And so you have men who are like, nope, not even gonna entertain you anymore. We're not gonna interact at all. And you have so many men who are just choosing to not interact with women. Then you have women out there who are like, I just want a man who has to date me. Even though my standards are 6'4", making six figures with with having his looks at a 600 out of 10. Like, come on. You got to be over 6 foot, you know.
Victimized, if that's your perspective. Men being falsely accused, if that's your perspective, yeah. And this experiment is somewhere around 50 years old. Certainly you had back 70 years ago, female secretaries and things like that. But now we are in this space where everyone is just pissed. And the funny thing is, social order is breaking down. Now, it's not just this Halle Berry feminism thing. Take a look at this from the New York Times. Did liberal feminism ruin the workplace?
Yes.
And if so, can conservative feminism fix it? Well, my friends, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't either. I think the modern definition of feminism needs to change before feminism could fix anything. Because feminism, it used to be pro-woman for so many year after year after year. It was like, oh yes, we're gonna have more power here, we're gonna have more equalization here, and most people are for that. Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, it should have been this way always. I don't know who was the idiot who started at the beginning of time who would chose it to be any other way. Should have always been equal. And then you get to the point of where it is today, where instead of being pro-woman, feminism is just anti-men, hating men, and being against them from the start. It doesn't give them the opportunity to do anything. It's just like, oh no, that's a man. You can't interact with that person. You can't think they're good because they're a man, and the patriarchy is all they give. They could never give any other examples other than just, oh, but he's man and the patriarchy.
I think the issue is feminism is it's not congruent as we describe it today with modern society. So we don't need you to autoplay anything, you garbage New York Times. But I appreciate they're finally writing this. And
by the way, if you make a website that autoplays stuff, regardless, ads, videos, fuck you first off, fuck you second off, fuck you third off. Screw you, don't make that kind of site. It immediately gets added to the blacklist of sites that will never be visited again. So instead of getting, 2 cents for ad that would have played while I scrolled your page, now you get 2 cents today and 0 for the rest of time from me. You're welcome.
People are starting to wake up to what's really going on. Let me read this for you. I also have an essay where this, maybe it's fake, but it's an essay that was published online that got a lot of attention from someone claiming to be a female gender studies professor and talking about how they're having an emotional breakdown because...
Are they a female gender studies professor or are they a female gender studies professor? There's a very important comma that needs to be placed there somewhere.
Men are basically saying, we don't want to do anything with women because y'all are nuts. Guys are scared of going to jail, having their reputations destroyed. They can't be in the same room as women because they'll get accused. Heavens me. That's where we're at today.
I mean, we just had the story like last week or a few weeks ago, I think, that it occurred over the course of a couple weeks. But it was the girl who was doing DoorDash who hadn't in the app leave the food on the porch at the door. Don't bother with anything. Just drop it and leave. Simple. Very fucking simple. The most simple order you could give a child that order and they would know how to follow it. You could give a toddler a order like that. All right, go drop this at that door and come back. And then they would do it because they know that's a simple little task. Not go up to the door, drop the food, open the man's door because he didn't come to it to get the food, and see that he's half naked jerking off because he was drunk. Because as a guy, who hasn't had a night of drinking, you get hungry, so you're ordering food, and then you're like, all right, I'm drunk, my food's on the way, and there's only one more thing that can make me happy. Pants down, dick in hand, probably porn on phone. And yeah, and then, the lady she opened the door to this guy's house who was asleep and then tried to claim that he sexually assaulted her while he was asleep. Now flip the genders. Imagine that as if a guy tried pulling something like that. No, officer, she sexually assaulted me while she was asleep. Any cop would look over at you and go, so you were staring at a person you don't know without their clothes on, with no consent? Sounds like this is going the other way around, buddy. Let's go downtown and have a night in a cell, or some time in a cell before you go before a judge. See?
And if the issue is an accusation is enough to destroy you, guys are like, I ain't going to spend any time alone with anyone. Now, before we get into all that, my friends, we got a great sponsor for you today. It is Beam Dream. Go to shopbeam.com/Timcast. Pick up your nighttime blend to support better sleep. I'm a huge fan of Beam Dream. I've been not to need a delicious cup of hot cocoa. I drink it every night. Get one
jumping ahead.
Discount. Let's get back to the story. Here's the New York Times.
Yes, YouTube. The jump ahead feature makes YouTube far better. Now quit asking. They've asked me every day for like 3 weeks now.
In the age of Trump, that liberalism and feminism have come to grief by pretending that the sexes are the same. But what does that difference really mean? Should the right be trying to roll back the entire feminist era? Yes. Anyway, he goes on to say, or is there a form of conservative feminism that corrects liberalism's mistakes? My guest this week, Helen Andrews and Leila Labresco-Sargent, are both conservative writers, critics of feminism, but they have a very different view of what a right-wing politics of gender should look like. Indeed. Well, here's what I did. What do I have here? Okay, here it is. I pulled up a transcript of this essay from a women's studies professor. I don't know if it's real. I tried to find the source for it. I couldn't find the source for it. And that's why I transcribed it from a YouTube video. But it does speak to the perception. And the reason why I want to show you just some of this, and again, take it all with a grain of salt, is because I know that many of you will actually see things in here, especially you young men, where you will say, that's exactly what's happening. When I read through this, was listening to the transcription, and then read through it, I thought to myself, we like the answer. I thought to myself, not all of this I can prove to be true or correct, but a lot of it I've personally seen myself and is backed up by the data. So perhaps it's just fake internet stuff, as it always is. Take it with a grain of salt. Don't use this as a primary source, but anything in here, fact check and see if there's data to back up these claims. That being said, this essay was reportedly written by a 45-year-old professor of women's studies at a state university, spending 23 years creating spaces where women could speak without interruption. She goes on to say, she never screamed at men. She never insulted them. She thought that she was being reasonable and rational.
Dismantling harmful structures.
Occasionally challenge readings, create discussion, and mansplain, but at least engage. Now the 7 guys in
We don't mansplain. It's just explain.
my class of 30 just sit there. They take notes. They turn in assignments. They say nothing. She goes on to say that finally she went to someone and she asked him, saying, I noticed none of the men are participating. He does this weird smile that doesn't reach his eyes, says it's probably better if he just listens and learns, and thanks me for my time and leaves. Something about the interaction bothers me for days. She talks to a sociology department colleague. He gets this look on his face that he's been waiting for someone to notice something. Says he's been tracking enrollment and behavior patterns for a paper. Says male enrollment for courses taught by women has dropped by 17% over 6 years. In courses specifically about gender, sexuality, or women's topics, male enrollment is down 32%. Participation rates among enrolled men down even more dramatically. Office hours visits from male students to female faculty down 41%.
Yep.
He shows me survey data he's been collecting.
No one wants to become a student with their teacher, and no one wants to be in that porn. No man wants to be in the position to where there's any opportunity for a woman to say something. When accused of it, he can be, I wasn't even there. Try again.
One survey response from a 23-year-old engineering student wrote, he wanted to take a class on gender and literature because the books are interesting. Decided against it.
No, he didn't. He didn't say that. He saw a cute girl in the class that he was interested in. She denied him, and that's why he went to, because they were interesting.
Having it interpreted
There's zero chance he thought it initially.
Becoming an example of what not to do. A business major described being interested in a female professor's research, wanted to ask about mentorship, but didn't because, this is funny, he didn't want to put either of them in that position. Position, he called it, like meeting with a professor was a dangerous situation to avoid. Of course it is. These young guys are going to get falsely accused. And
yeah, and if they are a conservative person and the professor is uber liberal, extremely progressive, etc., whatever word they want to choose for it, and they come up and the professor gets even an inclination that the person here is conservative, they may just choose to fail them for having a difference in opinions than them, which should be illegal.
They know it. Or something they do will be interpreted incorrectly, then they got to deal with it. And it's going to ruin their reputations and their lives. She says it's one data set, but she pays attention. She notices her teaching assistant, a female grad student, gets way more questions during her office hours than she does. Male students line up to ask her things they could ask me, but they bring it to her. Trying to sound casual, she hesitates, then admits male students have told her they feel more comfortable asking her questions. When she asks why, she seems more approachable or they don't want to bother me. University implements mandatory mentorship program for junior faculty. Department chair quietly tells me that 3 different early career men requested male mentors specifically. When pressed, they gave vague reasons about similar research interests. But their research interests aligned more closely with mine than with the men they requested. The chair looked tired when he told me this, like he's been managing these invisible tensions for a while. Go to department mixer, try to network with new male faculty hire. Conversation is polite, professional, and brief. He positions himself so we're visible from multiple angles, doesn't step closer when the room gets loud and we can't hear each other, maintains this careful distance. It's deliberate. Contrast it with how he talks to male colleagues, the relaxed, laughing, and standing close. The ease of it. Yeah. Every boss, every...
Me Too killed relationships, women. That's all it did. It did not support women in its finality. Maybe at the start it did. It had a great support for women being pro, but not by the end of it. By the end of things, it was just, no, you got to be anti-men. Oh, that man, he spoke to you in a way you didn't like. You were raped. Let's go. Let's tell your story. You got to hem it up a bit. Make sure people know that your story is important. And it just completely ruined everything. And now nobody wants to speak to women. No man wants to have relation. I mean, they want a relationship. They just don't know how to have one without potentially being, accused of anything wrongdoing years down the road. You don't want to have good interactions, and then 5 years down the road, you have police knocking at your door because you, quote unquote, had sex with a woman who you were dating at the time, and she maybe one time was like, I didn't want that. He raped me. Like, okay, in the meantime, it may have felt bad to you. Did you do anything between then and now to do anything to solve it? Because if no, bye, I don't care.
New hire, every young Gen Z guy knows that if I put it like this, because we talked about it for years. Let me give you the scenario, ladies and gentlemen. A guy walks in to his office and he sees another guy in a slick new suit and he's dropped weight. He's been working out. His arms are bigger. And he goes, whoa, Jim, looking good, brother. You lose weight? You've been working out? That outfit is fantastic. My man's got swagger and swag.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking
so
good,
many
brother.
Guys do that now.
Pats him on the shoulder and says, whatever you're doing, keep it up.
And I think that's something that really needs to continue, even if men and women have the divide between us that we can come back together, and men can still be doing that because women do it for women too. And then behind their backs, they shit on each other. And to their faces, they'll at least go, "Oh, your outfit looks so cute. It looks great." And then behind their back, "Oh, did you see her ugly outfit? Yeah, it totally didn't match her bag." Any woman knows you may have had a situation like that or heard it from someone else in your life. Because I'm a guy and I've heard it.
No problem there, right? Maybe a little gay, but not really,
No.
Okay, let's try a woman. There's Janet. She lost some weight. She's wearing a very nice dress. And the man walks and goes, "Whoa, Janet, looking good. You lose weight? Wow."
And then Janet goes to HR, and then the man is fired and has police officers waiting to escort him out because he sexually assaulted someone, even though he just said, "You look good."
Ow, that outfit. Looking gorgeous. Pats her on the shoulder. Bro, that guy is getting fired in 2 seconds. He's going to be accused of sexual harassment like that.
Well, if he patted her on the shoulder, then she would up that thing to assault. He touched me unwilling. I didn't want it. It offended me so much. When all it was is a little, "You look good. Hey, keep it up." Like, to the guy, it meant absolutely nothing, but to the woman, it ended her world.
No way a guy is going to do that. Bro, in sports, guys pat each other on the butts. Good
Yeah,
luck.
they smack each other on the asses.
NFL, yeah, everyone's going to be hiding in the corner. So here we go. The essay goes on saying rates of young men reporting having no close friends is up dramatically. Emotional isolation metrics through the roof. Cross-cultural data showing this pattern across multiple Western countries. Find research about men's support groups. The conversations happening there. Themes of fear, withdrawal, calculated risk avoidance. They describe every interaction with women as potential threat to their education, career, reputation. Describe the running cost-benefit analysis of simple human interaction. I should publish this full essay. I think I will. I think I'll post it on X or something for people to read. And I want to stress,
it's impressive.
I have not been able to vet this. I don't know who wrote it. It was in a video where an AI voice was reading it from a 4chan green text. But while it may be fiction, I know, as I'll say it again, and this is an important distinction, I see a reflection of my own experiences in this. And I know a lot of you do too, and that's probably why someone wrote it. It may be that it was not actually written by a gender studies or women's studies professor or anything like this. It may actually be the student, and they want credibility, but it's anonymous online, so they wouldn't need to do that unless they want it to be looked at as being credible. The point is this. Anybody who's got a problem with this.
Whoa. This one here in the 14.05, perfect students did exactly taught. Lesson on workplace dynamics discussed how men need to recognize power differentials. It talked about how senior men can't see junior women, meaning, at the closest age difference, they could be the same age or even like just a single year beneath them, but they can't see them as mentees without examining the potential abuse of power. Like, oh, I don't even want to be talking with this group at all because it could be seen as me preying on them. And yeah, that 100% has happened many times in a guy's mind.
And I'm sure some of it may just be anecdotal. You need only actually ask those questions. Come on. Let's see a poll. What do you guys think in the comments? Is this what you've experienced too? Because I have. They're going to say, and I skipped a lot of this because it was a 30-minute long video. Says attend required faculty training on preventing sexual harassment. Instruct on how to avoid any situation that could be misinterpreted. Don't meet with students behind closed doors. Don't communicate after hours. Don't develop friendships that could appear to show favoritism. Maintain professional distance at all time. Realizing giving instructions to everyone, now institutionalizing separation, didn't want, there's probably an error there. Making an official policy that men and women can't be alone together because risk is too great. Formalize distrust. And that's feminism.
Exactly.
They go on to mention, after class, Marcus finally comes to office hours, nervous and keeps apologizing, eventually asks about thesis developing. Good question, insightful, shows deep thinking about the material. Tell this, encourage to develop further. Looks relieved, but also sad somehow. Thanks for coming. Say, wish more students engaged like this. Pause at door and turns back. Says something that guts me. Says almost didn't come because didn't want to make uncomfortable. Says knows a lot of professors don't want to deal with male students one-on-one anymore. Says gets it and understands why, doesn't blame anyone, but says it's lonely trying to navigate college without mentorship, guidance, or real connection to faculty. Trying to figure out how to be a good person when every possible action seems fraught. Says most of friends have just given up on trying. Safer to keep head down, get degree, and get out.
Yeah, for real.
It's
safe. It is definitely the safest path anybody can choose in college is just get your degree, keep your head down, and don't piss off the wrong person that could ruin your career. Darn cat.
Ends with saying that this person is crying. It wasn't supposed to be how it felt. It was supposed to be like victory. It feels like everyone is losing. Sit down and write essay I'll never publish. Title it, Men Went Silent Because of Us. Document everything I've found, everything I've realized. Write about intentions versus outcomes. Write about how the most conscious of men were affected. Write about how we filtered for worse behavior by making good behavior impossible. Write about loneliness and isolation and fear. Write about my own crisis of faith. Write about still believing in equality while recognizing we've created new inequality. Write about not knowing how to fix it. Finish essay and save it in a folder I'll never open. Too dangerous to share. Too important to delete. Testimony to unintended consequences. Evidence of damage we didn't mean to cause. Apology to a generation of young men we taught to despair. Taught to disappear. Confession that we got it wrong somehow, even while getting it right. Sit in dark office staring at screen. 45 years old, 23 years of feminist work. Countless students taught, dedicated life to making things better. Maybe did, maybe didn't, maybe both. Think about Marcus and Andrew and all the quiet men in my classes. Think about my son who doesn't date anymore. Think about my nephew who sits in the back and says nothing. Wonder if they'll ever speak up again, if any of us will. Men and women are different. There is no way to create equality because men and women are different. Men and women want different things. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, whatever. Women are subject-oriented, men are object-oriented. If you take these two opposing forces as part of the human experience and try to jam them into the same space,
they will not fit. It will not work.
And you will get misery. You know, you look at this, and as I mentioned with the workplace story, men will compliment other guys on their appearances.
Oh, yeah. We do it all the time.
Throughout my life, I have gained and lost weight.
Throughout my life, I'm 28. I have gotten more compliments and more comments about myself from other men. Like 10, 15, 20-fold than I have ever from women. Women don't compliment men. And at this point, men don't compliment women anymore because they're going to get Me Too'd and thrown in jail.
And I remember...
Let's go back to complimenting each other gender.
Summer comes, get thin. Man, really got to just change my diet through the season for whatever reason. But I've had people say to me, wow, you're looking thin, Tim. You're looking great. I don't go, excuse me? That is a sexual come on. You are never invited. I go, oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
People really need to just learn how to take a compliment and accept it. That is something that is a lost art for some weird fucking reason nowadays.
But here's the thing. Women are motivated by different things. If you've ever watched the Whatever podcast, holy smokes.
Oh my. The average woman they get on that podcast, I think has a room temp IQ on a cold winter day. Like, come on.
Women, I got lucky. I found a wife who is very good. She's great. I don't got to worry about these things. But women still have very different motivations than men. Women love babies way more than guys do. It's a fact. There's going to be a lot of guys out there be like, hey, don't say that. I love my kids. That's not fair. Guys, in general,
I would put a little asterisk after that. The girls in general will like babies more than men. A man will, unless that baby is that man's first daughter. That first daughter he has will change his life, and he will love her as much as he loves his wife, maybe even more. He might love her in different ways even more than he loves his wife, because of the fact that this is a whole new level for him. I need to protect this person. I need to make sure they are safe until they are married, and I can walk them down the aisle, hand them off to their new husband. In a just traditional, this is how their wedding happens way, and be like, hey, take care of her. And yeah, every single guy, he might not admit it, but he's bawling his eyes out, not ready for the day where he has to walk his daughter down the aisle. And yeah, he might be, walking her down to expand the family. Like, oh, I'm walking her down, she's going to have grandkids, and then I'm going to get to fall in love all over again. And he might have that feeling too. But at the same moment, he's like, my baby's grown up, and there's nothing I can do to slow down time. And he's going to want to go back and revisit all the moments he did throughout her childhood as she grew up.
You were to map out,
a man and his son is a completely different relationship too.
Always score higher on loving kids. I'll put it like this: I'm a new dad, and we walk down the street with the stroller, and I love my daughter, and she's fantastic, and my wife does too. I honestly do think that my wife has a more powerful emotional reaction to my daughter than I do. Even though I would say that my daughter is the most important person in the world, nothing else matters.
Exactly. That right there, that line. She is the most important person to him. Nothing else matters. And that is exactly how a new dad feels. Well, actually, that's exactly how a dad feels when he has a daughter. When he has a son, he's like, okay, I'm going to raise this man right. He's going to learn. He's going to know how to treat a woman right. He's going to not go out and be a shithead, getting arrested all the time. He's going to be the best version of himself that he can be. And a man wants to train and make this man what he can be. This is a fully different level of relationship between a man and a daughter and a man and a son. And the same thing for a mother and a son and a mother and her daughter. Those two relationships are also very different from each other.
Women lose it. They go, oh my God, and they look at the baby. I'm in an elevator and a lady's leaning back to try and see the baby. Guys don't do that. They just don't. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm in a restaurant, baby's yelling, and a guy looks over and he smiles and he makes a joke. And then he says, your child is gorgeous. Congratulations. Men care about kids too. If men and women didn't care about kids, we wouldn't have kids.
Hey.
Here's my point. While guys smile at kids and they do love their children, women gush over babies like celebrities.
That's fair. They do gush.
Some prominent athlete's house. I may have told the story and said who this was, but I won't now, I guess. And my wife is sitting in the back with our baby, and a bunch of people walk in, and there's like a couple women and a couple men, and so it's this long, narrow room. She's in the back on the couch with the baby. I'm sitting at the bar talking to some athletes, and then all these people walk in. I introduce myself to all of them. The women immediately walk back to my wife and start talking about baby. They're talking with me and the athletes about athletic stuff, about feats of action sports excellency. And then I looked over and I was like, guys, isn't this kind of funny? Like, the boys are all standing here talking about action sports, and they're the ladies surrounding baby. I think it's cute. I think it is beautiful. I love women. I love that they love kids. I love that this is their passion and their interest. Not all women, not always. We are not going to just jam men and women in the same space and think we're going to get a positive outcome.
You can put them in the same space. You just can't treat them identically, is the thing that should come down at the end of all this. You can put them together. You just cannot treat them identically, man to woman, woman to man to man, woman to woman. You gotta treat people, and you gotta like hop around these little categories, slightly here, slightly there. With the girls, you're not gonna be talking about sports and military and guns and everything. Some girls do. Don't get me wrong. There are many of you out there. We love you. However, the majority, women, you're going to be talking about, the smaller day-to-day topics, your feelings, the interactions between each other. Men, you're going to be over there, the entirety of whatever sport game you're related to, whether it be baseball, hockey, football, soccer, etc. I think I got the main. Oh, basketball. That's the other main. One of the other big main ones that it happens. But yeah, it's you get those kind of things.
This is what's ended up happening. It is what it is. You know what I can do? I think I can take the link to this actual post, and you can just read the whole thing. So I'll do that, and then you can see, all of it. I'm going to wrap it up there, my friends. Smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Stay tuned. We got more coming up for you today. Tonight's going to be wild on Timcast IRL, and we'll see y'all then.
Yeah, as he said, hit that like button, get subscribed, and don't forget to leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts on the video, what you enjoyed, and anything else you wanna say. If you've got a video you want me to react to, toss that one down there. I'll just review it, see if it fits my criteria. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you later.